Hey guys, I'm just getting ready to do a little bit of yard work here at the property, but just wanted to do a quick little check in here. I did go back to the Captain's Club this week and did a little driver lesson with Alex. There will be a video on that next week. I just have a little bit of prep work to do for that, and I also interviewed Bill Flohr, who is I believe his title is a Chief Impact Officer, if I remember correctly, with the Folds of Honor Michigan and the Folds of Honor Motor City. So those are two chapters of Folds of Honor here in the state of Michigan. And I'm going to cut over to that interview here in just a moment and let you watch that interview, learn about the Folds of Honor from his perspective. But also, today I had the privilege to head over to American Dunes with my dad and look at the Wall of Honor with my grandpa's name on it. So back in May and June, if you had not seen anything from Imperfect Golf yet, I ran a Faith Freedom Golf campaign. And through that campaign, raised enough money to put my grandpa's name on the Wall of Honor. I recorded some footage there, but this little guy here on this microphone, this little dead hat or dead cat, whatever they call it, really works really good. So when you go someplace outdoors and you don't bring this thing along with you, you just think your phone's going to be enough. It's almost never is, and it's horrible wind sound. So I will have some videos displaying up here of the Wall of Honor with my dad. But super cool to be able to close that out and go over there with my dad and see my grandpa's name on the Wall of Honor. I want to get you into this interview here with Bill. Had a great conversation to learn about the Folds of Honor, a little bit more about the organization and kind of what happens kind of at the chapter level and how the partnerships work and that sort of thing. So I really hope you enjoy the video or the interview. And welcome back to Imperfect Golf, where it is my mission to help people grow in and through the game of golf. I've been looking at Folds of Honor a fair amount since I discovered Folds of Honor, and really I discovered Folds of Honor by golfing my first round at American Dunes back in April. And I was like, man, it'd be really kind of cool to try to put my grandpa's name on the Wall of Honor. So I did that. Actually, I'm going to see my grandpa's name on the wall Saturday with my dad. And but I was looking today as I was preparing for this conversation, and since its inception in 2007. Folds of Honor has awarded nearly 73,000 scholarships, totaling over $340 million to the spouses and children of America's fallen and disabled service members. I pulled that right from the website, and I was like, I gotta include that here because I was like, I knew it was to me a big number, but I was like, man, that's huge. So I'm excited today to talk with Bill Flohr. And am I pronouncing your last name right? Is it Flohr, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you
Okay.
are.
I'm like, it looks like it probably sounds like how it's spelled. But Bill, and I won't say too much here, but Bill's from the Michigan and Motor City chapters of the Folds of Honor. And before we get too deep into things, Bill, would you mind introducing yourself, what your role is with chapters of Folds of Honor here in Michigan, and just kind of what that entails?
Yeah, Aaron. Well, thanks. First, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. But yeah, Bill Flohr, you pronounced it right. So I'm what's called a regional impact officer for the state of Michigan. So
Okay.
I am basically support for Michigan chapter, which is everything west of 127, and the Motor City, which is everything east of 127.
Okay.
I'm supporting all of their events, and then also, trying to help them find corporate partners and corporate sponsors and all that inside of the state for all of their events, whether they're galas or whether they're golf events or anything like that. So that's
Okay.
kind of what I do. Yeah.
Okay. And I shared a little bit about the Folds of Honor early on, but if you had to give kind of like a quick overview of the Folds of Honor, like what would be your like somebody doesn't know who Folds of Honor is, like how would you describe Folds of Honor to them?
Yeah, real simple. We provide educational scholarships to families of wounded, fallen veterans and first responders. So started right here in the state of Michigan in 2007 and started with a small golf outing, basically at the Grand Haven Golf Club, which is now American Dunes. Since then, like you said, we've awarded 73,000 scholarships. We have about 14,500 scholarship letters out right now for
Okay.
the 26, excuse me, fall 27 spring. So we're just waiting on, them to accept those letters and all that. So yeah,
Okay.
real simple.
Okay. So those scholarships, like, is there like an application process and then you're sending the letters out to people who receive it? Is that kind of how that goes then?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So our window opens on February 1st every year, closes on March 31st. Folks go in there and put in their applications. They have to obviously have all of their service records, and plus as well as the first responder records, and then give a little story on why they think they deserve our scholarship. And
Yeah,
we have people actually read every single scholarship. So
yeah.
we've received 26 thousand scholarship applications in 2026, and we have
Wow.
people read every single one. We don't AI anything, right? Those keywords that kick people out.
Yeah,
We don't do that. We read every
yeah,
single one. So it's great.
yeah. And it's like you have to throw that in there nowadays because everyone's like, did you use AI for that? Everything's questioned with that, unfortunately, right now. But
Right, right,
uh,
right.
so over 20,000 scholarships. Like, do you know how many like about how many people read those? Because I mean, certainly there's not one person reading them, right?
Oh my gosh, no. No, no, no. Yeah, we've got a whole team of about like 10 to 15 that read the applications. So
Okay.
it's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's pictures for me if I had to read them, right? I'm not a
Yeah.
good reader. I like pictures, but
There you
yeah,
go.
you can read every single one. It's crazy.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I mean, I like I said, I've kind of been getting to know Folds of Honor a little bit here. I just kind of had a hunch. I was like, man, it'd be cool to support Folds of Honor. It'd be cool to put my grandpa's name on the wall of honor over there in Grand Haven, and those things have happened, and really lots of little opportunities have happened come along the way since I started doing that, which is neat. And I won't get too much into that, but it's just been interesting for me since I started that whole thing. I don't know. I think it was in May or something like that when I started around Memorial Day, actually. So. Um, but what can you tell me about like so I know the Michigan chapter sounds like it's west of 127 and the
Yep.
Motor City chapter is east, but what do the chapters do? Like what does a day-to-day kind of thing look like for the chapter, I guess?
Yeah, so the chapters themselves are really focused on events, right? And
Okay.
also they do a little bit, they'll do a little digging inside their network to find companies that would possibly support, and then they flip them over to me, and I go and I kind of grow them if I can.
Yeah.
But so both sides have events, and they both have their own golf events, and they both have their own gala. So both galas, the one in Grand Rapids is in February, and then the one down here in Detroit is in March. So they're a couple weeks apart. So the chapters really focus on that, right?
Okay.
Those are kind of their big events for the year. And there's a lot of third-party events out there, right? So, Aaron, you wanna host an event for Folds of Honor. You reach out to our chapter, and then they flip over to me, and then I get and I help you, and I support helping that event raise awareness, get people to sign up, and then obviously raise the funds for our scholarships.
Okay. Okay. Um it sounds like there's a lot more behind the scenes that happens than that, but that's probably getting pretty nitty gritty. So I'm a kind of person I do a lot of like kind of project management and stuff like that at work and logistics of things. So like I could sit and talk about that all day, but I'm guessing a lot of people don't want to hear about the behind the scenes
Yeah,
stuff.
that's the 30,000 foot view, right?
Yeah. So and I know you've talked about corporate sponsorships or partnerships, I should say, and that sort of thing, but like in general, how are the chapters supported financially? Like how does revenue, I guess, get generated if that's the way to put it?
Yeah, and you know what's cool about our chapters, first of all, is everybody inside the chapter, they're all volunteers, okay?
Yeah.
They're all volunteers, which is unbelievable. They give their time. But yeah, so we're supported by, let's say a Bellacino's or a Mancino's that does a roundup at the register, right? You go and order your grinder and hey, your dollar amount is 826. Do you want to round up for Folds of Honor? So that's a
Yeah.
huge thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, so places like Spartan Nash, all of their grocery stores, they do roundups for us across the nation, quite honestly, and it all comes
Yeah.
back to us. Meyer's a huge supporter. Budweiser obviously is a huge supporter. All the distributors inside of Michigan, Budweiser distributors, are huge supporters. Westside Beer, Mervine Beverage, all those, Ludington, big supporters of ours. But you get into General RVs, and I'm trying to get into the Fords and Chryslers. I'm sorry, I
Hmm.
said Chrysler, Stellantis, General
Yep.
Motors. All that we're getting little bits from them. I'm trying to roll out some stuff with all the dealerships out there. But yeah, there's a lot of smaller companies. It's not the huge companies. You find it's a lot easier with smaller family-owned businesses that will kind of support. Lineage is obviously a big corporation, but you get down to it, you know some of those people personally, and they're just all in. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting and like I don't know, there's some sort of psychological effect. Like if you buy a new car or you're looking at cars and you have a certain model in mind, you see it everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But the last few weeks I've been seeing Folds of Honor. It feels like everywhere I go. So that same effect is happening. So it's kind of funny because I was talking about it, but I was like, well, the first one honestly was Aunt Millie's bread.
Yes.
My daughters come home with a thing of loaf, and they're like, "Dad, this is the Folds of Honor." This is like they were like all excited to show me. And then I was at a local restaurant just for having breakfast one day. I don't remember what brand of ketchup they had on her,
Red
but it said
gold.
something about Folds of Honor. Was it?
It's red gold.
Okay, so it's red gold, yeah. But so it was interesting. So I looked at that and I was like, these. So and then like I was talking to the waitress when I was checking out, and I was like, do you know what Folds of Honor is about? And she's like, oh no, not really. So I just kind of talked to her about a little bit and everything. But then I was driving home from a golf lesson last week. So I'm in Shiawassee County. I don't know if we're between Flint and Lansing, and I was in Grand Blanc. So I was on the highway, and there was a tanker truck. They had uh, something about supporting Folds of Honor on there. It was a full
Yeah.
full logo, so it wasn't just for a supporter. So they must have been some sort of partner. I was like, they're just kind of everywhere right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, the work you guys are doing seems to be paying off for what it's worth in that regard. So
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it is. I can sit here and just rattle off names, right?
yeah,
Hudsonville ice cream's just coming on board. Prairie Farms milk and ice cream, and then the oil company. I think it's S&H, or I'm sorry, J&H Oil Company. Their gas stations do a huge
yeah,
thing for us. So
yeah,
those things are so underrated because quite honestly, I told you we sent out 14, almost 15,000 scholarship offers. We're still going to be about 7,000 scholarships short on funding. We're having so much growth. We're
mm,
really, that's why I'm out here every single day, right? We're
yeah,
just short to fund those scholarships, and we have to bridge that gap, and all these partners absolutely help us do that.
yeah. Well, and so you've talked about events and galas and stuff like that as well. So I'm guessing some of those things are helpful. And that's kind of my next question, really, because so we've talked about partnerships quite a bit. But how can Michiganders specifically get involved with the Michigan or Motor City chapters of Folds of Honor uh, in any way? Like I won't even limit it. I'll just leave it that way.
Yeah, so and I know you've got a lot of golfers, right? We're very heavy with golf because our founder was not only an Air Force pilot, but he was also a PGA professional. He's actually playing in the Ally Open, which is August 27th, 26th, something like that,
Yeah,
up in Grand Lake near you. But yeah, if you go to our website, all of our events and a lot of our partners are listed on our websites, okay?
yeah,
So like in the Motor City, we've got coming up at Spring Meadows Country Club in Fenton there. We've got an event August 17th. We've got one coming up at Orchard Lake Country Club. Birmingham Country Club is doing one for us. And then on the west side, it's we're doing one in September. Well, we're doing two in September. One at um, the Links, one at down in oh my gosh, I can't remember the other one. But there's so many golf events that are
yeah.
out there, and they're all listed on our site, obviously.
Hmm.
And then our galas are huge for us. They're really. We had 550 people at both our Motor City and our Grand Rapids Gala.
Yeah,
So it's just they're huge events that really help us.
yeah. Okay. Um, Actually, I will be volunteering at the Ally Challenge. So I'm gonna early on when I first started trying to think about like this whole imperfect golf thing, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I still don't uh, pretend to have it all figured out. I call myself in the building the foundation phase right now. But like somebody said, hey, you should go volunteer at this Ally Challenge. It might be a place where you can run into people and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, cool. So I signed up for that back in probably April.
Okay.
Um, and and then I saw that Folds of Honor was going to be there. I saw some of what Lieutenant Colonel Rooney was talking about on social media somewhere.
Yeah.
how how they're gonna be a partner in there and have the Folds of Honor Friday and everything. Then he announced that he's golfing, and I'm sitting there going like, man, this is like,
Right.
I honestly I volunteered because I wanted to go see what this whole experience is about, but I was like, I was really hoping to run into some people I want to run into, and I was like, oh man, I might really run into somebody I want to run into.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's cool. I'm super excited about that, and that's where I've been over in Grand Blanc is where I've been doing. I met a person, a physical therapist, and through him I met a golf instructor that I've been working with over there, just trying to keep myself dialed in because I kind of had some things that come with old age that I needed to deal with that they're helping me through. so
I
so
get
I
that. That's for
so so I've
sure.
kind of gravitated towards Grand Blanc a little bit here recently, which has been a fun little adventure. So and you kind of touched on this a little bit, and maybe it's kind of obvious if you know Folds of Honor. But if you're a golfer and you're not familiar with Folds of Honor, uh, like, why do you think that the game of golf and the mission of Folds of Honor seem to work together so well? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, it did. Well, a couple things. One, obviously, with Lieutenant Colonel Ritter still being a PGA professional, right? He
Yeah,
was on tour for a little bit, but I think service really kind of, he was still flying at the time, so it was kind of tough.
yeah,
But when you talk to a lot of PGA professionals, um, they're all about country, man. They
yeah,
they love this country and they love our veterans.
yeah,
Jack Nicklaus designed American Dunes for us because of love of country. Nancy
yeah,
Lopez is on our board because of love of country. And I see Nancy all the time. She's the greatest person in the world, by the way.
yeah,
Um, and it just, helping our veterans resonates with these golfers. It
yeah,
just does.
yeah,
I mean, what doesn't make you feel good or what doesn't make you feel even better than helping our veterans, gosh, even helping them with their swing through the game of golf, right? Let
yeah,
alone supporting the mission, through monetary contributions, So
yeah,
I think it just resonates. I really do.
yeah. Yeah, that's kind of been my experience so far. I mean, I really kind of just started golfing in general last year. I mean, I golfed like years ago, but last year I kind of was like I need something to chase, something to kind of pursue to kind of help, like just because I like to get outdoors. I mean, I do some hunting in the spring, I do a little bit of hunting in the fall, and I was like, I need something in the summer. I don't not really big into fishing personally, but so and I was like, but I also kind of want something that will test me, that I have to be patient with and grow through. And I was like, we'll try golf. And man, wow, I didn't realize just how much it would test that patience side of things so much
Oh yeah.
at times. But
Yeah. It only takes one
uh,
good shot to get you back, right?
yes, but like I have discovered, part of it's probably because I did that whole Faith Freedom Golf campaign that I did. Like I've discovered a lot in that space, and I thought maybe it was just because of what I did, but I was like, no, like there's a lot of support for veterans and just love of country in the game of golf, which I think is great. I mean, I'm a huge advocate. Obviously, I like if you've seen anything from the Faith Freedom Golf campaign, like I read the story about like a little bit of a background on the Seventh Infantry in Korea because that's my grandpa was in the Seventh Infantry in Korea, and then I read his
Okay.
essay that he wrote years later about his firsthand account of the final battle of Port Chapel. And it's like part of it to be able to share my grandpa's story and everything, but also as part of it's like I'm sort of a like these people served our country in meaningful ways, regardless of what role you were in, regardless of anything. You gave of yourself for our country, and I just have always had a high level of regard for our veterans and for just the historical factor of like what some people have had to go through to preserve the freedoms that we have here. So
Absolutely.
I've been super excited to see that in the game of golf so far on personal level. That gets me a little fired up, Bill.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Hey, you don't feel unsafe playing golf, and it's all because of, our military veterans who protect our freedoms, and obviously, our first responders who are
yeah,
protecting our communities every single day,
yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that was all the questions that was definitely all the questions I had in my document here. But is there anything else that you would like to share on behalf of Folds of Honor, or just from your perspective in the game of golf and supporting veterans, anything like that?
So I think one of the things that I wanted to mention too is, in supporting Folds of Honor, we at 91 cents of every dollar that we collect goes right into our scholarship program. Okay.
Yeah,
We're a very high rated charity. And a lot of times you give to charities, you're like, oh man, does the money actually get to the people that really need it? And in our case, yes, it does. I mean, 91 cents is a huge number,
Yeah.
and we really pride ourselves on it. Everything we do, we always take that into consideration. Hey, we don't want to spend this money. We've got to keep this money in the scholarship for, whether it's golf gifts or whatever at some of our events. We're very, very cognizant of that number. So I think
Yeah.
that's really amazing. And that we're really proud of that, quite honestly.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing that too as well, and just being like, man, that's commitment, because like you said, like, a lot of times these days, I mean, unfortunately, you kind of have to question, like, I'm giving to this, but, or I want to give to this, but you have suspicions or whatever. So
Right.
uh,
Right.
for whatever it's worth, I mean, I've interacted with, various people with Folds of Honor. I mean, I've talked with Doug Bell over at American Dunes, and
Sure.
Casey over Casey, I don't remember her last name.
Oh,
She's over in,
Davis?
oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I reached out to her. Well, I didn't know I was reaching out to her. I reached out on the website, and just to find out, like, before I did this whole thing, like, hey, when I do this, because I design shirts and stuff, how can I put Folds of Honor on there in some way, shape, or form, or not include Fold? So she just kind of helped guide me through that to make sure I did things properly, which
Gotcha.
was very awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. All I was going to say, I guess, with that was I've just been very pleased and very impressed with everyone I've met and talked with at the Folds of Honor. Everyone's been just honestly just great to talk to, and very supportive and very helpful. And like, I'm a guy, when I started the whole, and I'm still a small like YouTube channel and all that. I mean, I have just over 100 subscribers, but everyone's treated me like I have a million. And like,
It's awesome.
I think that's just how they are, which I think is a great sign of an organization, and the character of the people involved. So I think that's
Great.
pretty
Well,
cool.
thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. I'll for
Absolutely.
sure see you at the Ally too.
All right. I'll make a point of that. I'll be in the clubhouse there. So like between holes 17 and 18 is where I'll be.
Okay.
I think I'm scheduled to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
Great.
I'll be around.
Great.
So
Great.
one last thing here,
Yeah.
Bill, is where can people find you or the Michigan chapter of Folds of Honor, or what's the best way to get in contact and learn more about the Folds of Honor? What's the best path for people to take?
Yeah. So definitely our websites, right? So west side of the state, it's michigan.foldsofhonor.org.
Hmm.
East side of the state is motorcity.foldsofhonor.org.
Awesome. Awesome. I will put a link to both of those in the description of the video here and everything as well. But I really appreciate the time. And if there's nothing else that you'd like to add, I think let's go ahead and wrap things up. And look forward to seeing you here at the end of the month, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, and to everyone watching. If you like the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Leave a comment on if you have interactions with Folds of Honor yourself and your impressions and just things you've seen. Or if you have questions on there, you can put them in the comments here. I might not be able to answer the questions, but I can maybe send it to somebody who can help guide you along the way. But I would absolutely recommend you going to the michigan.foldsofhonor.org, as well as the motorcity.foldsofhonor.org, to get in touch with them. And you can also see on there, I think, places to set up events and learn more about how you can be involved there as well. So thanks, Bill, and we will see you at the end of the month.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you.
Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview. It's really cool to talk with Bill and learn about the Folds of Honor, and more about the Folds of Honor, I guess I should say. And also very cool that I'm going to be able to run into him at the Allied Challenge here at the end of August. If you're in the Michigan area and you're going to be there, let me know. I'd love to run into other people and find out who's maybe watching these videos that I don't know. I know a lot of people I know are watching them, and that kind of keeps my view count up for where it's at right now. But I really do appreciate everyone watching this. I appreciate the support for Imperfect Golf and for the Folds of Honor and our veterans in general. Thursday, I will have another short video coming out. It'll have some golf stuff in it. I've got one round of 9 holes for my breaking 40 that will be involved with that. Not my greatest round. I have a couple of things in there, but I'll save that for that short video. And then this week I've got another round of golf that'll be playing, I think, on Friday. So I'll get some footage from that. But really looking forward to continuing this effort of mine to break 40. Breaking 40 is just a little goal to kind of show that some level of improvement for me. And I hope you guys enjoy the journey with that. And I'll keep sharing footage as well, some from the lessons that I'm doing with Alex and other things as I go along. my hope really is that through the things that I'm doing, the experiences that I'm having, that other people will, you know, kind of be able to learn and grow from these things as well. So hopefully my story, my journey, all this stuff, whatever you want to call it, is helpful for others. And also be on the lookout for a crossover video, I think, coming up here. I don't know when I'll record it exactly. It might be in a couple weeks. But it's coming to be October in Michigan. October in Michigan, I start transitioning from golf a little bit to a little bit of bow hunting. I'm wearing some real tree gear today and a Sever Broadhead hat because in the fall, I bow hunt. So I might end up doing a little bit of a crossover with seeing how accurate I am with my bow versus my wedges specifically as I practice for bow season here. We'll get a little bit of archery and a little bit of golf at the same time. So I'm kind of working on what that looks like, but be on the lookout for that. So some cool things I'm trying to put out here to keep people engaged, do something a little bit different. I'm a high handicap golfer. You're not watching a beautiful swing or anything like that. So hopefully you enjoy the journey. Hopefully I make this entertaining for you guys, and hopefully we can learn and grow in the game of golf and through the game of golf together. So thanks again. Always remember, progress isn't perfect. It is consistent, and we'll see you next time on Imperfect Golf. So if you weren't around, we'll just start over. That was actually getting really good too. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video or the oh shoot.